depression and all sorts of reasons why. Good morning. So I am up and at 'em today, and I've been dealing with some insane depression, and I'm okay with some regular ups and downs. I'm okay with depression. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just think sometimes people have it and you go through it and it really sucks. But if you can kind of keep your head about you and say, okay, this is depression, acknowledge it, work with it. I mean, literally, I don't like it and I feel horrible and in a horrible funk. I intentionally reach out to people. I do the very best I can. And I also close off in certain areas just to give myself some peace. Well, this last month, I've had quite a few things happen, different causes. Maybe not just causes, but, reasons to feel more upset than usual. Anyhow, the one thing, I'm going to talk about one here on this video, and that is I took Ranitidine, Zantac, for like a month, every single day. I didn't have any stomach issues in the acid department. It was because when I take antihistamines, I'm literally on the ground. I am like swimming drunk in mud. It is awful. I cannot take antihistamines. They're the worst effect on me ever. I am extremely sensitive to drugs, like everything. So what happened is I talked to my doctor and she said, an alternative is people do this ranitidine, 150 milligrams, not a big deal. People take it. So of course I didn't. So of course there's this where you can take your antihistamine and ranitidine together to help with all the itching that people with PV get, or MPNs. And believe me, I'm all for getting rid of that because it's brutal. But the antihistamine couldn't take. So I take the ranitidine and I am suddenly like, I don't know, day 35 in this horrifying funk, deeply depressed. Anything happens, sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And it's like I can't get it together. I also, during that time, I did have my bone marrow biopsy. I was weak, all that. And, of course, I physically don't always feel well, which is a really bad effect for me. Losing my mind, the whole thing, just sobbing, depressed. And I was like, this isn't just normal, like, because of rough time. It wasn't just, because I was going through all these other stresses. Like, most of the stresses I was dealing with, I can handle losing my mind. I lose it all the time. I can handle any surgery or anything at the doctor's. I deal with that, I can deal with some really rough situations. Luckily, unluckily enough, I've been through a lot and I can kind of take things in stride. But this was a different funk. This was something like alien to me, of a different level of insanely depressed. And I ran out of my pills, the ranitidine, at day 40. And I was like, I don't know, the only thing that's truly changed, in the makings of everything, is I took this one pill, but it's just for stomach acid. Let me look at the side effects, right? So I read the side effects, and I'm looking up depression because that's the only thing that truly changed other than life events, right? So I look, and it's like 0.01 or some very small, teeny amount of depression. And I was like, well, maybe, but like, this is really crazy, because I was explaining to my husband, if there is a drug and it has one effect it's supposed to give you, okay, like some awesome thing, and then there's some like random, horrible, stupid side effect, I'm the side effect person. I swear, like years ago when we couldn't figure out the PV, my doctor kept prescribing me all sorts of horrible things. And I would be at work and I'd say, I need cake. And they're like, that's weird. I'm like, it is so weird. I desperately need some cake. and I had no idea why. I'm not a huge sweets person. I really generally don't eat a lot of sweets. And long story, I was telling my coworkers, and they're like, that's nuts. I'm like, I don't know. But the only thing that changed at that time is one of the many medicines my doctor gave me that were unnecessary. Anyhow, I read the side effects, and one of them was, believe it or not, it was so weird. It said something about like craving pastries or cake, something like that. I was like, are you kidding me? Of all randomness, this thing just, was awful. And then here I am just craving cake. I am a side effect person. Why? I don't get it. So anyhow, I take to Google, back to the ranitidine, and I take to Google, and I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know what to do. I write in ranitidine and depression. Hello? The craziest thing, okay, is on there. So you have the Google, and it's saying, so I read one, AARP. That's totally, great. That's kind of sometimes where my body's at, so I'll just go and relate to that, And they're like, take ranitidine instead of the others of whatever they're recommending, because the others cause depression, but ranitidine is less for these, okay? I was like, okay, so that it's not the ranitidine, it's not causing depression. And then I look at the other things, and Psychiatry magazine is like, when people stopped taking ranitidine, there's a huge drop in that severe depression that they had. Like all these random things, and I'm like, this is so weird. And there's some correlation. And here I am having this completely foreign alien depression, not one of utter stress or having a time or crying for, not the crying for relief, but like sincerely losing it, crying because I can't do one more thing. I did have a rough time. I got a call from my son's school. I sobbed after that. Like all these things, and believe me, I'm trying not to show my son all this. Like no one wants to see their mom fall apart. But it was rough. And I am, right now, I'm on the mend. It doesn't mean, and so, by the way, obviously I did not go buy another bottle of that stuff. And I'm giving a heads up to everyone, because I swear, we think things, they look innocuous, and we're not going to have a problem with that, and no problem. And then this pops up, and I'm just trying to get rid of the stinking itching. I'm not doing anything like, fabulous. I don't want to itch. And so now we're just resorting to if we can find a stinking cream. One reason I'm doing this is not only because depression is super real, and I will be talking more about depression because it is hit heavy and hard. And I'm not going to shy away from it. I think so many people suffer from depression and don't talk about it. And I mean, you kind of don't, right? It looks like you're weak or this or that, but by God, I see it as you're trying hard. I know the struggle. I know the weight of carrying a house on your back and trudging through mud up a hill. It's rough. And I'm not really embarrassed about being human, so anyhow, I will talk more about it because there's a lot of things that happened. Long story short, I think that I have done a video about awesome things to give to someone with MPN, and one of them was, I think I wrote about it, the Zantac, because it has been recommended. And here is the thing. Just because it doesn't work for me does not mean it won't work for you. So huge heads up on that. I'm all for, we are all different humans. Our bodies react differently. Obviously, in the side effect ridiculousness, and it's always a weird shock to me. I don't even know why anymore. But I think it's also one reason I'm so afraid of drugs. Oh, they scare me. Anyway, long story short, heads up on that. If you are feeling horribly depressed and this has been one of the changes in your life, talk to your doctor, do something. It was a huge thing for me, and I am still in the recoup mode and trying really hard every single day to perk up. And please like and subscribe, like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you are watching on YouTube, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.